Where were you located? Were you finished learning this thing? Is there a seat for us over there? No.
We don't remember this horrible deed that we commit. Any other reasons we might drink to this point? What?
They don't recognize the enemy. Who's the enemy? He's so drunk that he doesn't know who's the enemy.
Okay, anybody else?
The rabbi who said we should do this was an alcoholic.
The rabbi who said we should do this is an alcoholic. Now, it's possible that if you give permission one day a year to get drunk, it kind of does away with all the rest of the year when you're not, when you. Okay, now you put them back under your seat and leave them there for the next millennium. Okay, now it's my great pleasure to welcome you all. Are you all ready to go?
Yeah, the congregation.
Okay. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all to the City Congregation's Purim Spielers, who will present tonight a new play written by Aviva Cantor, and we're very pleased. And her fans. The play is entitled Esther and the Three Fools. It's produced by Shirley Rand. Thank you, Shirley. It is directed by Richard Mann, who's off stage. It will star the following cast: Alan Siege, Peter Moniz, Pauline Rothstein, Deborah Freeman, Howard Alper, Richard Mann, Sally Mann, Isaac Mann, Claire Warga, Dahlia Remler, and Shirley Rand. We will thank them again at the very end. It takes place in Shushan, the capital of Persia, around 400 BCE. And now I would like to turn over the evening to Sally Mann of the Purim Spielers.
One more introduction before we begin. Happy Purim.
Happy Purim.
Does anyone know what the word Purim means?
Cast lots.
Right. So Webster's Unabridged Dictionary says lots are objects used in deciding a matter by chance. A number of these being placed in a container and then drawn or cast out at random one by one. Funny name for a Jewish holiday, don't you think? One thing that makes sense of this is that in the Purim story, Haman, the anti-Semitic villain, decided on the date for the next pogrom by choosing lots. That's why Purim is in the Jewish month of Adar. That's when the pogrom was to have happened. But there is also another, maybe even more important reason for the name, and that is the emphasis on this holiday on luck and fortune and maybe even chaos. Nowhere in the Megillah of Esther is the name of God mentioned. No outstretched arm, no celestial plan or sacred dictate. The Purim story is about the lives of people and how they manage in the face of adversity. We could even say it is the quintessential secular humanist Jewish story. It is the story of court intrigue in which each conflict is faced by the individuals involved without a consultation with any god. Purim is not associated with prohibitions or fasting. On the contrary, it is associated with letting loose, costumes, masquerades, plays, parodies, the topsy-turvy of reversal. Like Mardi Gras is in the Christian calendar preceding the serious fasting of Lent and the solemn aspects of Easter, Purim precedes the more serious holiday of Pesach, in which serious themes are explored and retold. The Talmud goes so far as to say it is the obligation of each person to be so drunk on Purim as to not be able to tell the difference between blessed be Mordecai and cursed be Haman. And indeed, there are so many reversals in the story of Esther that it's hard to keep things straight. What starts out powerful ends up weak. What starts out scary ends up funny. Although Haman is the villain, we are never too worried about him. The children are taught to boo Haman whenever he appears, except for in this play. It is the fantasy story of Jews in the diaspora parading around in Persian clothes, finding out about a pogrom in time to do something about it, slaughtering 75,000 of the enemy, and effecting a mass conversion of the Persian populace to Judaism, which I just read about and was amazed at. Jews getting organized, getting into high places and triumphing against the enemy. In the Middle Ages in Europe, the Megillah parodies would often satirize the Gentile powers that were in opposition to the Shtetl Jews. Through the play, they could boo their own current villains, cheer their heroes, and tell their own stories while retelling the traditional legend. The traditional celebration of Purim requires the following 3 rituals: the sending of gifts of food to friends, the giving of money to the poor, and the reading of the Megillah. Tonight, in our non-traditional way, we are following the traditions, sending school supplies to the Ethiopian children in Israel, sending medical supplies to the Cubans, and telling the story of Esther. And now, I will no longer be Sally Mann. I will become a member of the chorus. Welcome to our Purim spiel. The play you will see tonight is about 3 foolish men and a nice Jewish girl who cleans up the mess they made. Our story starts with Haman, the grand vizier to the king.
I am the vizier, my name is Haman. Remember to step into line. You must lower your head as a sign of dread, and make sure that it's below mine.
We'll lower our heads as Haman demands, and remember to step into line.
Do I see someone who refuses to bow? And who are you?
I'm Mordecai.
Ah, and who is Mordecai? The local rabble-rouser or the outside agitator? We in the intelligence community, the dirty tricks department, knew in the 60s how to deal with people like you. Beware. Things could get ugly if you persist in your defiance. Move along now. Who is this dangerous, subversive radical?
His name is Mordecai. He's a scholar. People respect him. Oh, and I forgot the most important thing. He's a Jew.
A Jew? A homeless cosmopolite?
That's the rhetoric for Stalinist events. Here you need to use the capitalist rhetoric.
Oh, they are parasites feeding on the body politic, draining its gold and talent.
Here, sire, you'll find this very useful.
Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Who wrote this?
A czarist agent provocateur, but everyone thinks it's the minutes from some very organized international Jewish meeting.
Yes, yes. I don't. I'll tell the king the Jews are dangerous traitors and we've got to get rid of them. Huh? Oh, sire. We have a problem.
Today is my golf day. Don't you remember? Can't it wait?
No, sire. There's a certain people in this country. They're called Jews. They're very dangerous. Why, they could betray us to the Greeks the next time we have a war, which is in about 3 years. We've got to do some ethnic cleansing and quick.
Can't we wait? I mean, what's the rush?
By getting rid of the Jews, we accomplish something very important for the Persian Empire. See, it's very simple. The Empire needs to show the world that it's got the guts to start a war and win it. So, we announce that the Jews are our worst enemies. Why, there's danger that they could take power here and throw us out of our own country. So, we do a prophylactic strike in the form of a pogrom. Now that will show those arrogant Greeks with their naked wrestling matches what we are capable of doing.
Hey, haven't I read somewhere about how the Pharaoh of Egypt was afraid that the Jews were going to take over, so he ordered all of the baby boys killed?
Well, sire, this is how we will do it. Their names are inscribed here.
This is a database? Haman, is the deficit so bad that this is the best you can get? Hey, why don't you try those punch cards?
Oh, sire, you do remember what happens in Florida, don't you?
Okay. Where's the edict?
Right here.
Where do I sign?
Here.
Hey, excuse me, but your name is bigger than my name.
Oh, sire, are we going to quibble over point size? 10 points, 70 points. Who cares?
Hey, it's not that. It's about the economy. Now, if we kill off all the Jews, who will pay the taxes they contribute to the Eternal Revenue Service?
Well, if you're going to quibble over every little thing and not see the great picture of Homeland Security, we will lose our chance to act.
Why did Haman have to, go so far? I mean, he could have organized a death squad to kill Mordecai. The CIA could have done a great job.
Maybe he always hated the Jews, and Mordecai gave him the excuse he needed.
But why did the king sign these? I don't know. Maybe he was despondent. He missed Vashti.
Who was Vashti?
That's me, the former queen. I refuse to appear before the king and his many cronies at the tail end of a drunken 7-day party. One of his officials convinced the king that if I could be allowed to get away with disobeying the king, all the women in all 127 provinces would do the same, and there could be a wholesale revolution in the Persian Empire. It should only happen. They convinced the king to depose me and find another queen. Then he signed an edict declaring that all the women of the empire must respect their husbands. They should only deserve it.
Amen.
Hear ye, hear ye.
I have in my hand an edict from the beloved king. Oh, he is always thinking of ways of giving you fun. I mean, we can't throw people to the lions like the Romans. We don't have the budget for it, but we can still enjoy ourselves. So, the king has declared, on the 14th day of Adar, every man can grab his weapon and kill as many Jews as he wants.
Who's in charge here?
The king. But he's in the palace, or on the golf course. But you have to apply for permission to see him. The permission has to be inscribed on a scroll made from reeds in the Tigris River and left to dry in the sun for 2 weeks. Meanwhile, 2 other